Now, this is going to be a big year for Vauxhall. It has to be with the launch of the new Astra. General Motors chairman Jack Smith has already admitted that he's taken his eye off the ball in terms of the European market. So the Astra really is a crucial car for them. We got our first look at it about a year ago, and now we get a chance to see it in the flesh and to drive it here in Austria. And this is it. What do you think of it? I quite like the look of it. Maybe it looks like a mini Vectra, but it has a new chassis, new floor pan, new suspension and a new interior. It is an all-new car.
Now the Focus is still some months away. VW are having problems delivering the Golf, so perhaps this is Vauxhall's big opportunity to get the Astra selling in the marketplace.
Now on the outside, I like the design. All the panels seem to fit very well, and quality has certainly been paramount in the making of this new car. It has a butch, slightly aggressive stance to it, but still unmistakably an Astra. It'll come in a choice of 3-door, a 5-door, there's an estate, and a mini MPV a la the Renault Scenic. They're calling it the Zafira, should be with us in about a year's time.
There are 4 petrol engines, a 1.2, 1.4, 1.6 and a 1.8, plus 2 diesels, a 1.7 and a 2-litre. And also to follow quite shortly will be 2 hot versions, one perhaps even carrying the Lotus badge, due respect to the work that Lotus engineers have put into the handling of the new Astra. Plus there'll be a cabriolet even further down the line. It wouldn't have taken much to make the Astra handle, ride and steer better, plus the ability to stop quickly rather than at its previous leisurely pace. Now the platform is totally new and will enable the Astra to come in a variety of body styles over the years to come. It has a hydroform aluminium subframe on which the front suspension is mounted, the coil springs, struts, dampers and anti-roll bar. Plus the body shell is 80% stiffer than before, which meant that the engineers could do away with a rear anti-roll bar.
So, the exterior of the new Astra we like, but step inside the cabin and the interior and be positively underwhelmed. Well, it's not quite as bad as all that. Some of the early reports on this car were positively scathing about the interior, but we're not so sure. It's not very inspiring, but everything is good and solid. All the switchgear seems to work well and feels good. The seats are comfortable, there's plenty of space. There's some rather garish seat designs, which I wouldn't choose, but you might want them. And also, maybe it's just lacking in that certain je ne sais quoi. It needs a bit of spice. So much time was spent on the exterior that maybe the interior was forgotten about. Now this new Astra drives and handles like what it is, a new car of course. This 1.8 that I'm driving at the moment is a very free revving car. You put your foot down and it goes quite quickly, goes very nicely, handles well. And General Motors went right back to the drawing board with a fresh piece of paper for this car. That meant a new chassis, new floor pan, revised engines and a new suspension as well, which was tuned in the end by their colleagues at Lotus, with particular preference made to the British style of roads, and certainly the new Astra handles and drives like no Vauxhall before. Now the market sector that the new Astra is in is surely one of the most competitive. There's the Peugeot 306, the Citroën Zara, and of course now VW's new Golf, there's the Escort and its replacement, the Focus. Now probably up until a few weeks ago, Vauxhall chiefs were very happy with the new Astra. That was until the Geneva Motor Show, when all that changed and Ford unveiled their new Focus and quite literally pulled the rug out from underneath its rivals. Vauxhall and VW chiefs were probably stood there quaking in their pinstripe suits and lederhosen as they looked at the radical new Focus, and it almost makes the new Golf and the new Astra look rather ordinary. So, have Vauxhall succeeded with the new Astra? Well, Yes and no. On the negative side must be that cabin and the interior, and rumours are that a new cabin and interior are already being worked on and could be in the car in about a year or so's time. And like for like, say up against the Golf, the Astra's cabin is no match for it, and it's no cheap car either. They're very similarly priced. On the plus side though, you have to say the way it looks and the way it handles makes up for it. The engines are responsive, nimble and economical. Now what we have here is the real fun part of driving the new Astra. Deep in the heart of Austria, Vauxhall have closed off an airfield for us and set up a special course to test out the dynamic capabilities of the Astra. There's a slalom course, there's a high-speed brake test, and there's of course the good old elk test that caught out the Mercedes A-Class so badly. Hopefully it won't do the same with the new Astra, I'm sure it won't. Let's go and try, shall we? So first of all, there's this slalom test. You've got to stay in the cones, of course, not knocking any of the cones off. I'm taking it rather gently just at the moment, just to get used to it, unlike the previous guy who took it very, very fast. Now we're into the slalom course, and this is in and out of these all the time, right the way through. And we're heading now towards the brake test. We've got to try and hit 100 kilometers an hour before stamping on the brakes at this particular point here. And it seems to do the job very nicely indeed. Now, at some stage, if you haven't actually owned an Astra yourself, you'd certainly know somebody who has. And this unmistakably is a Vauxhall Astra, whereas the new Ford Focus definitely isn't an Escort. So what do? Do you wait over a year for the new Focus? Do you wait a few months for the Golf? Or do you buy an Astra now? Well, it's your money, it's your decision. Me, I think I'd maybe just hang on a little and see how things go. I'm sitting on the fence, I know, but make no mistake about it, this isn't a bad car.